Good morning. It's the morning. How's everyone doing? Good. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Melanie.
And I'm Jenni.
And it's our pleasure to have you guys in this workshop. We're just going to introduce ourselves, give you guys a little bit of our background in events, and then we'll get right in. So I've been in the event industry for almost 10 years now. Ever since I graduated high school, I just got right into it, helping with events, volunteering to do events. And I got my degree in communications, and then I went back to school. I got my master's degree in hospitality with a focus on event planning. And I worked at FIU for a couple years, where I worked for the president's office doing their big graduations, elected official events, all that. And now I have the pleasure of working at the church and doing the events for the church. So that's my background. Oh, and I also worked in weddings. Forgot that. I did wedding.
I was going to say that's a big part of what you did.
I did a lot of wedding. I'm a wedding coordinator, wedding planner. And so I took a break when I had a baby, getting back into it now. So I did that for about 4 years. Still kind of going. So Jenni.
Hi guys, I'm Jenni. So my background, sir, you're not allowed in here. Just kidding. My background in events, so I went to the University of Central Florida in Orlando, where I graduated with my major in hospitality and minor in event management. So I kind of started like 10, 12 years ago in just getting into events. I kind of knew I wanted to do that when I got to college, and Orlando is like the hub of hospitality. So I started my career in hotels specifically. So I specialized in weddings for many years. So I worked more, so Mel was the planner. I worked more on the venue side. So I was the one who kind of, who the planners would go to. We'd kind of conjoin minds and then we'd make everything happen. So my experience, I've been behind the scenes. I've actually volunteered and kind of done what Mel has done. I've been with planners as well, helping them on the day of someone's wedding. So I've kind of done it all. I am the designated family planner as well. When someone's like, I have a birthday party, can you come help me? I'm like, yes, I will come help you. So that's kind of my experience. I actually just had a baby 3 months ago, and I just quit my job to be a stay-at-home mom, but so I'm taking a little break from event planning, but I'm sure that's where my heart is, so I'll probably end up doing that again at some point. But that's my background.
Awesome. So we're gonna hit 3 points for you guys today.
If I can click on it.
There we go. So our goals for this workshop is that you're able to get 3 things: the key elements of event planning, the steps to planning a successful event, and then once you have all of those tools, tips for smooth execution, because you can have a wonderful vision, you can have an idea of what you want to do, but execution is where it counts. So we're going to get started. Jenni, take it away.
So there are a couple key elements when it comes to event planning. Now, when we say this, it's not going to be anything groundbreaking that you're going to be like, oh my God, I never thought of it. But sometimes when you've never done it before, these simple tasks can kind of help you get organized. So defining clear goals is crucial, whether it's your kid's birthday party or it's a wedding, whether it's something small or something big. Kind of defining those, what you want to accomplish, how you want to accomplish it, and how you're going to get there is super important. And sometimes when people start, they get kind of flustered and they're like, oh my God, there's all these moving parts. Just kind of create an outline for yourself and say, okay, this is the goal. We want to have a 5th birthday. Actually, today is my nephew's 6th birthday party after this. So the goal for my sister, I'm like, what's the goal? Okay, we want to have a pool party and we want the kids to have fun, and the theme is this. Okay, let's work off of that and kind of create that shell of the event, and then you can kind of fill in the details from there. One of the examples, are you hosting a corporate event, wedding, community event, kids' birthday party, etc.? What's the purpose of the event? That's what it is. What is it? And then from there, you just go from, like I said, you just go from there and fill in all the details. Am I doing this? Yeah. Okay, so one of the biggest parts of planning an event is budget. Again, wedding, birthday party. Once you set a budget, that's how you can fill in what vendors you can use, what kind of activities you can plan within that actual event. For instance, I've done a lot of weddings, so has Mel. Budgeting is probably the number one thing that I speak to my brides about. Okay, before we talk about anything, what's the budget? Because you can want to get married at the Biltmore and have a $15,000 dress and do it, but is that within the budget? Is that realistic for what you want to do for your event? So have a big number. Okay, I don't want to spend more than this amount on this specific thing. Okay, perfect. Now let's start to fill in all the pieces from there. Everything is like a shell and then working kind of inward. So you have the big picture and then you're working inward. So, okay, budgets. Okay, I want to spend this much and I don't want to go over this. Okay, well, what vendors can we reach out? Let's start getting quotes. When you start reaching out to all the people who are going to be incorporated in your event, you want to reach out, get their number, start filling it in, start being organized. What I would do for, for a smaller scale event like my nephew's birthday party, reach out to a bunch of vendors. When they come back with numbers, I'm putting them into an Excel sheet or into a Word document, however you want to do it. And then that way you have it all listed out and you're like, all right, we can't really afford this. Let's go ahead and go with this option. We can't really do this. Let's go with that option, and kind of build it for yourself. The more organized you are, the easier it is to plan something. Again, it's not groundbreaking news, but sometimes people get a little flustered at the beginning and they're like, there's so much stuff. Just kind of keep yourself organized on some sort of document. That's how I do it. That's how I advise my brides to do it. When you're working with a planner, that's how they do it. They have documents and they have timelines and all of that. And that's kind of how to manage the resources too. That's just having everything organized for yourself with all the vendors. And yeah, you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you said it all. I think the biggest thing is having a big number and then having a breakdown. The same thing you would do with your personal finances and your personal budget. You say, okay, this is the most I'm willing to spend on lawn care for my home. This is the most I'm willing to spend on groceries every week because it's what I can afford. Do the same thing. Create a breakdown. What's the most you want to spend on food? What's the most you want to spend on rentals? What's the most you want to spend on a location? Do the same thing and you'll be able to see what you can afford.
And don't be afraid to ask certain vendors when you're reaching out to a caterer, when you're reaching out to a balloon artist, a face painter. Hey, I don't want to spend more than this. Be realistic with your budget with them, because they might say, hey, you know what? I want to bless you. And even though I was charging this, I'll go ahead and I'll give it to you for this, because you're giving them a number. Because sometimes you're going to vendors and you're like, hi, yes. Specifically when you're dealing with weddings, florals tend to get very expensive, right? You can go to a florist and they're like, yeah, we're going to charge you $20,000. But you're like, oh my God, my budget was like $5,000. So this is just, so be realistic with your vendors, because they might tell you, listen, hey, I don't want to waste your time. I'm not going to be able to be in your budget, but maybe I can recommend someone that I think would be really good, that I trust, that can meet your budget, or I can put in a good word for you or something like that. Those are all good tips when you're reaching out to these vendors, because I want to say post-COVID, planning events has gotten extremely expensive. Post-COVID, I don't know what happened, but everyone's like, oh my God, the whole world got sick and we're going back to events. I'm going to charge you triple. And you're like, wait, what? Just a personal experience. I got married in January of 2020, so right before the world shut down. Now my brother-in-law and his fiance are planning to get married this year, and I'm getting all these quotes back and I'm like, what? Yeah. I'm like, they're charging what? For what? I'm like, so it's kind of crazy. So just be realistic with your vendors with what your budget is. They're going to help you if they're a good vendor. Funny enough, we have a list of vendors for you that we've worked with personally that we really trust, that kind of encompasses everything from like a balloon artist to a wedding planner. So we're going to hook you guys up with that at the end. But yeah, just be realistic with your vendors and they'll help you steer you in the right direction.
All right. Oh, I think that's still you, right?
Yeah. So timeline and scheduling, so important. So again, I will go back to like the big scale event to the small scale event, wedding to a birthday party. If you don't have some sort of timeline or scheduling, it's going to be a disaster. It just is. So timeline, so specifically with weddings, wedding planners create a timeline from the moment the bride wakes up to the moment the party ends. And that's hair and makeup. That's what time all the vendors are arriving, what time. That is something that you can create when you're doing your own event. So again, if you're doing Thanksgiving, let's say for your family, you're hosting Thanksgiving for your family, you want to have a kind of a timeline. Okay, I want everyone to arrive at this time. You want to have some sort of plan for parking as well. Okay, it's going to take this amount of time for everyone to park and get in. Okay, and then you've got, all right, from this time to this time, we'll have the appetizers out. And then that's when I'll put the turkey in the oven and everybody will be outside. And you're just kind of breaking down the day. This will have to be flexible, because if we know anything about timelines and schedules with events, it's never perfect, ever. I think I've done like 4,000 events and I don't think any time maybe a handful has been like, oh wow, that actually went pretty perfect. So just kind of create that timeline for you. One, it puts you at ease because you know what's happening next. If you're a type A personality like myself, I want to know what's coming next. So, and plus you can share with people who are helping you that day. Hey, from this time to this time, for instance, we have a animal handler coming today to my nephew's birthday party. He's coming at 2:00. I'm like, all right, from 2 to this time, like that's when the kids need to get out of the pool. We'll start to get everybody. Several people in the event know today that the animal handler is coming at 2:00, so that they're gonna know, like, it's not gonna be just one person trying to get 30 kids out of a pool. Now there's 10 people that know, and everyone's like, hey, let's get out of the pool. Hey, you're kind of shifting everybody. You're distributing that knowledge to everybody that can help you, and then that'll make everything flow a little bit better. Discuss how to break the planning process into manageable steps. I mean, I basically just kind of said that. Just break it down so that it's really easy for you to follow throughout the day. I don't think there's really anything else to kind of break that down. Step-by-step event planning process.
Awesome. Well, we have some practical steps for you guys in the next one. So obviously event planning is a multi-step process, right? You're gonna have the idea all the way to the day of execution and even post-event, and we'll get to that. But basically what we did was break it down into 6 big steps. So each step has a couple of steps, but it's tackle one big step at a time. So the first one, it's identifying the purpose. What's the goal? What's the vision of the event? Is it your daughter's birthday party, or is it your Thanksgiving with your 30 family members that are flying in from all over the country? What's the goal? The goal is to have fun, make sure that my daughter has the best birthday party ever, and make sure that her friends are also enjoying it. If it's Thanksgiving or a corporate event, like Celine, for example. Celine does a lot of big events for her job with the Cancer Foundation. What's the goal? The goal is to fundraise. So always identify the goal and the goal as well as the theme, because those two things will help you, set the vision for the event, and then you can move forward. So identify the purpose and the theme, set the goal, and then set a budget. Like Jenni said, you can't do anything without a budget. So if your number is, let's say, I'm just gonna throw out a number, not for anything specific, $10,000, okay, 10,000, that's it. I'm not gonna spend a penny over this, so how can I make it happen with that budget? Second thing is you wanna create a guest list. Who are you inviting? Do you have to invite your mother's cousin? You probably don't. So kind of just figure
We don't like
out.
her, she's not coming.
No, she's not very nice. So do you know, and especially like with weddings, okay, that's always a big thing. Even baby showers, big life events, you tend to feel the pressure that you have to invite everyone. Now, I would say, does it fit the budget? If it fits the budget, go ahead, have the biggest party in the world. But if you know that, let's say, I'll give you my personal example. Robbie and I, when we were wedding planning, we couldn't afford, with our budget, we couldn't afford to have more than 80 people at our wedding. So what we did was, okay, 80 people, all right, we're gonna make the best of it. Who do we have to invite? Who's been in our life? And so same thing, I would say, goes for a Thanksgiving, to a child's birthday, to a corporate event, all that. If you are doing an event for your business, who do you want to target to come to your event? Do you want to have people that could be potential clients, or do you want to do a client appreciation event? So there's a lot of different ways to go about a guest list. Other thing in step 2 is choosing a date. You always want to choose a date that will work with weather, possibly if you're doing it outside. You want to choose a date, especially if you want people to go, that's going to be a time and where people can go. You're not going to do it on a Thursday at 10 a.m. because most people work. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then choose a venue or location. Are you doing it at your house? Are you doing it at the clubhouse? Pick a location, and from there, now you are ready to hire your vendors, which is a very big step. Step 3, hire vendors. So that includes your catering. That includes, are you gonna have an ice cream cart? Are you gonna have Publix platters? Like, it can include anything. And we actually didn't include a catering resource on the vendor list, because catering can go from literally Publix platters to like $85,000 with like a top caterer in Miami. So if you guys need any, catering advice, or, I want to hire, I want someone to do hot dogs and burgers for my 30th birthday, like, let us know, and we'll try to steer you in the right direction and give you.
I was gonna say, we go to the same church, so like we can see each other on Sundays, and you can just like grab me if you need.
Super casual.
And good enough, Mel goes to Doral and I go to Dateland, so you have someone in each campus.
Exactly. So that's the big thing. And then entertainment. Are you gonna have a animal handler? Are you gonna have face painting? Are you gonna have someone that comes in and does like a comedy bit for 20 minutes. Like that's what entertainment is. DJ, light show. We even have hora locas in our thing, which is like when people come and do for like the 30 minutes to an hour, and they do like the fun, in the stilts and the lights and all that for weddings or any event. Photo and video. Are you gonna hire a photographer? Are you gonna hire a videographer? Are you gonna do both? Even a photo booth. We also have some photo booth resources for you. And then rentals. Rentals could be anything from tables, chairs, centerpieces, tents. What else? I mean, the list goes on. Backdrops, everything. So that's the next big thing. Once you have your goal, your theme, your date, your purpose of it, your guest list, and your vendors, now we're talking. Now we're cooking. And now we have an event that we're creating. So now you get over to step 4, which is logistics. This is honestly my favorite part. I love writing to-do lists. So we always suggest, kind of write out a list of what needs to get done before the event. Okay, do I need to make sure that the landscaping in my house looks good so that when I receive people, my house looks nice? Do I need to pressure wash? Do I need to send out invitations? When do I want to send them out by? All those things. What do you need to do pre-event before you get to the day of? Then make a list of what you need to do during the event. Maybe there are some things during the event. For example, weddings. Like I know for a fact that when I do a wedding, I'm always checking in with the bride, and there's a part where you're gonna meet the florist, and you have to bring the florals to the bridal party and the oh my god, the groomsmen. Well, I was like, what's the other party? The groomsmen.
They don't matter.
Yeah, the bridesmaids and the groomsmen. Okay, who's gonna do that? Is it gonna be me? Is it gonna be someone that I'm gonna hire to help me? So it's always important to have all of those steps listed out so that you're not dropping any balls and you're not leaving any room for, gaps or anything like that. And then obviously, what do you have to do after the event? Do you have to make sure that vendors are going to show up at a certain time so they can pick up all the rentals? Do you have to make sure that some venues make you take out the trash? Are you going to make sure that the trash is all taken out? Who's going to carry all the gifts in their car? If you have a baby shower or you have a kid's birthday party and your car's full of gifts, you might need 2. Who's going to do that? So just trying to run through the whole entire thing. Like, I know it takes a lot of brain power, but you will thank yourself later for just sitting down and doing that work, because now everything else will just fall into place and follow.
It kind of goes back to what I was saying, was if you plan everything out ahead and you know what the next step is, it eases the anxiety of the day. And you can, again, distribute that to other people so everybody kind of knows that's helping you out that day what the next step is. And it just, I think, unfortunately, kind of anxiety and events kind of go hand in hand together because there's a lot of parts that are moving at the same time. And if you're the sole planner of that event, you're trying to catch all the pieces yourself. So as long as you have that timeline of the day and you're planning out all of those logistics, you're kind of rolling with it. You're like, all right, I already know what's coming next. I don't even have to worry. We don't need to know what's coming next because I've already shared that with everybody. So that's really, really helpful throughout the day.
Absolutely. And then so you have your full list with your logistics. Now, like Jenni said, you're going to create a timeline for yourself for the actual event. What are you going to do from the moment you wake up till the moment you go to sleep? And who are you going to get involved? Because at least when I do weddings, I need to hire 1 or 2 assistants with me because I can't be everywhere at once. And same thing, even for her nephew's birthday party, Jenni's going to have to come in and assist. Jenni might have include her mom in the process because you're not going to be able to, again, do everything at once or be everywhere at once. And you want to make sure that all areas are covered and so balls aren't getting dropped. But the other thing that is very important is including buffer for transitions, but also for if there's any delays, if there's anything unexpected that happens. And we're going to get to that a little bit later. But it's always good to have, give yourself some time within your schedule. Don't do one thing to the next because you may get delayed, you may be a little bit behind or maybe ahead. And so it's always good to just have a little bit of a buffer in case there's a weather delay, anything like that. So that's pretty much it for step 4. And now step 5. Now is the fun part, okay? You're getting your invites. What needs to be purchased for the event decor? Are you gonna hire someone to do centerpieces? Are you gonna hire someone to do centerpieces, but are you gonna do the candles on your own? Like all those things, now it's the visual. Like think of what you need for your tables, what you need for when people walk in. Do you need signage? Those are all the details that we're talking about when we say decor. And then we always like to, and this is just I think widespread, whether you're in weddings, you do corporate, anything. It's always good to do vendor confirmations. You hired all your vendors 6 months out, 2 months out, do vendor confirmation, send out that email, make that phone call 1 to 2 weeks before. Just run through everything they need to do one more time and get it in writing. Whatever you do, get it in writing.
Yes. Yes.
In case something goes wrong, you said this was what was going to happen.
Right.
Because these rental companies and florists and all that, they have so many events happening throughout the entire week that unfortunately we're just like one other event for them. And so we just, but your event to you is the most important thing that you're doing at that moment. So make sure, get all of that, have a phone call, write it in an email, send it to them so that you're covered as well. Check your RSVPs and do any final walkthroughs if needed. And then lastly, day of your event, you're gonna delegate tasks ahead of time. You're gonna meet with those people, make sure you guys are all on the same page. You're gonna try to stay on schedule because you created that schedule for a reason, but while also being flexible. And guys, have fun. You have planned this event. You have stressed out. You haven't slept. Have fun. Enjoy.
You might have cried.
You might have cried 100%. Have fun, okay? And there was one thing that in here that that's at the end, never mind. And then post-event. I wanted to talk about post-event. So, if you are doing a baby shower, a wedding, even a birthday party, and someone brings you a gift, send a thank you. Send a thank you to people who join you. They spent their Saturday with you, their Friday night with you. Send a thank you note, whatever that may be. And even send a thank you to your vendors. Because that's how you make relationships. That's how you're like, oh man, I sent this thank you email, or I gave a card to the guy who did the drop off. Like,
leave them a review. That helps their
business.
business.
Leave them a review, yes. That goes a long way. And it allows you guys to build that relationship. And now I have this guy, he does my table rentals and he's awesome and we have a good relationship, and that goes a long way. And now if this is an event that you do for your business, your workplace, something more on the corporate level, I would say always try to send out a survey or get some feedback. How did you like it? What was the experience like? You as a guest, when you walked in, what did you feel? It's always good to get feedbacks because you're gonna want to get better every single time you do an event. It's not gonna be the same thing all the time.
But don't ask your crazy aunt because she's gonna give you too much feedback, and then you're gonna be like,
Definitely. That's so true. Does this feel good? Yes. Does it feel a little like not less
more
overwhelming?
broken down?
Okay. All right. We're gonna talk about tips for smooth execution.
Okay, so we don't have much time, so I'm gonna go through this pretty quick. Effective communication and delegation. I have an issue with delegating tasks. I'm very self-aware of that. But when it comes to an event, like we said, you can't do it all yourself that day. There's too many moving parts on any event. So it's really, really important to make sure that whoever you're working with that day, whether it be your mom, your sister, or your colleagues at work, that you are delegating tasks to them. And for instance, a real life example for me is I work on the hotel side. So what I do is I create a document for the entire hotel, basically telling each department what they're responsible for that day and what time they need to have it ready by. So they will look at that document and they'll see, let's say, banquets. They're in charge of, serving the people the food that day. So they'll know what they're serving, what time they're serving, and any notes about any dietary restrictions or anything, and that's in their section. So basically, it's not going to be like that for a kid's birthday party or for Thanksgiving, but hey, you can create something. If you want to be super organized, and people might be annoyed by you, and that is okay, because the people are always annoyed by me when I'm like, hey, what are you doing over there? You are not on task. But being organized helps everybody, and it kind of, again, just this is supposed to relieve stress. So just make sure you're delegating.
Yep. And handling unexpected issues. Rain, weather, technical glitches. The way we mitigate these things is by having a backup plan, especially if you're doing something outside. Always have a backup plan. I know we always look at the weather forecast, it's a thing, and then it says it's not gonna rain, but then it rains. And you have one of those rain showers that rains for 2 minutes and just soaks the entire thing, and then it's sunny again. Yeah. So just always have a backup plan. I can share a quick example. When I worked at FIU, during COVID, we had to do all of our commencement ceremonies in our stadium. It said it wasn't gonna rain for literally 2 minutes, soaked the entire stage, all 1,500 chairs, and we had to come up with a plan where everyone was just like, okay, all hands on deck, everyone grab rags, and we're gonna dry everything because gates are opening in 10 minutes. So always have a backup plan. And the second thing is, we always say, keeping calm under pressure is very important, especially if you are the planner. Yeah. You have to stay calm, because if you see it if I'm doing a wedding and a bride or her mother sees me panicking, what am I showing, right? So we have to just try to stay calm, just keep it all in here, you know what I'm saying? And try to keep the face.
Like I said, if
smile.
you need to cry, just go to the bathroom, cry it out, right back to work.
And that's it. And oh my God, I had a thing here. So yeah, basically just try to stay calm, try to stay cool, collected. The event is gonna happen. No one knows something wrong is happening except you. That's really it.
I was literally gonna say that. Half of the time, no one is gonna even know anything's wrong except you, and you wanna keep it that way.
Exactly. And obviously keeping guests informed, while you're trying to figure out things is good too. And just at the end of it, it's a learning lesson. You review what went on, you learn from it, and now you know what to do better next time. You're not going to be perfect every time, but we can get better every time. So that's pretty much it. I think we're out of time because I'm getting a lot of text messages. Oh, they said let's add 5 more minutes.
Yay!
Perfect. Okay, perfect. So does anybody have any questions they have? If not, we can totally keep talking. Like we can talk all day. So any questions? Maybe. Yeah.
What would be too long or too short of a buffer time to put, like in between, like maybe vendors coming or things happening during the event?
I think it depends on like the event, on like what. So, I'm trying to think of like a real life. If you
I have an example. So last year for the Spring Fest, we hired.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was a good one. Yeah, it was. I was sweating. Okay, you didn't see me, but I was sweating.
She's gonna take her hat off.
And I was 39 weeks pregnant. Okay, I was 39 weeks pregnant. Okay, so basically last year for the Spring Fest, you guys remember that really nice big tent we had? Okay, yeah, that's not what I had ordered, but we got them to give it to us because they messed up bad. So basically, my buffer was. I said, okay, if I'm gonna have 100 tables, 100 tables are coming, a big tent needs to be set up, and I had like 400 chairs coming. So I said, surely I'm not gonna do that the morning of the Spring Fest because that is a lot of stuff that needs to be moved around. That's a lot of people that are gonna be in that, we have the cooks coming in the next day. So we said, my buffer was 24 hours. I said, I'd rather pay the extra day fee than be figuring this out the next morning. And boy, am I glad I did, because they called me. There's the tent was a 40 by 70 tent. They call me, they tell me, hey, we're running behind. We had volunteers showing up at 5 p.m. to kind of put all the tables, all the chairs. They're like, we're running behind. Like this last event, they told us that there was an elevator, there isn't. So all these guys had to take up like a gazillion chairs and tables and other rentals that they had, like up 3 flights of stairs. So they were like hours late. And so of course I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? So I call them. No, I'm literally like, yeah, you have to go in a corner and just be like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out. So what I did was I called the boss, the lady that I was working with directly, and I said, hey, this is a problem. I said, we've had this rental for a really long time on the calendar. Why are they so late now? Like, we have our volunteers. I said, we have 30 volunteers showing up at 5 o'clock to get all of this stuff set up, and your people aren't here and it's 3 o'clock. And they're like, we're so sorry, this and that. So because of that, they upgraded us to the really nice tent. And so I felt a little better because I'm like, man, this tent's really nice. It's not like your regular schmegular, like, the ones you see 10 by 10. So they ended up upgrading us, which was really nice. And then I said, okay, well, now because they upgraded us, that tent takes 4 hours. It's a structured tent, so it takes 4 hours to build. So basically they ended up, what we did was now, because we told volunteers to come at 5, they ended up finishing up at 7. Volunteers were still there, so what we had them do were a bunch of other things that we swapped. Instead of starting with the tent, we ended with a tent. So they started doing all the other things and did that. So I would just say, depending on how many rentals, depending on how many vendors you have, just, I guess, how large scale of it is, give yourself like a really good buffer time. Like this, I had to give myself at least a day because it was just a lot of things coming in. Probably for like my daughter's first birthday, I'll give myself 2 hours. Like, so it just really depends on the scale and how much you're bringing in.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Anybody else? No? Oh God, we gave you such good information that you just literally have no
They're
questions.
speechless.
No, you did. I thought I was gonna have here
watched
taking
it, like,
pictures,
pretty
and I
much
was
you
like,
guys.
they're gonna send us the PowerPoint.
Look, I mean,
Yes.
again, it's nothing like that's groundbreaking that you're like, oh my gosh, like that's a new thing that they came up with. It's just sometimes it's an overwhelming task to plan something.
Yeah.
And if someone just kind of breaks it down for you and gives you step by step to say, hey, this is how you start and this is how you finish, this is how you make your life a little easier, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like one big giant anymore. Now you're
Right.
like, you have the bites, you know, for each one. So, okay, I think we're good then. We have a resource for you.
Oh, question, yeah.
Never mind. George.
Oh, it's gonna be a good one too.
I apologize, I did it like pre-screen.
So, for somebody who doesn't plan absolutely nothing,
Okay.
completely spontaneous,
Oh.
and hates planning,
Oh.
what do you recommend are some tools that I can start using and applying to become more of a planner? Because I'm sure my wife would appreciate it. Like we could say, hey, we're gonna do,
Yeah.
she's
Oh.
a planner for a living,
Okay.
emergency management, some
Yeah, on a
crisis and
different
stuff
side of
like that.
things.
That,
But I'm just a guy
that's
like,
important.
oh, we're throwing a party Friday? Awesome. Friday at 3 o'clock, I'm hustling. I'm scrambling, putting everything
Oh,
together,
no.
and it always works out, but it's like,
That's my worst thing.
Oh no! Here I'm like, does anyone have a paper bag I can breathe into?
so what are some tools do you guys recommend for somebody who completely, even like for work, I present to executives and everything.
Yeah, you wing it.
It's not winging it. I don't like to say winging
Yeah.
it. I do prepare in my own way.
You don't want to
Yeah.
call it that, but I'm just kidding. No.
I don't wing it, but I'm pretty confident when
Yeah.
I'm
The
going
last minute.
You're like my husband. I'm the planner, and my husband is more laid back. He's like, okay, sure, whatever you say,
So
crazy
what are some
pants.
tools to get me to start organizing that structure.
So-
I'm sure my wife would appreciate it.
For something as something that my husband and I do that helps us keep us on the same page that isn't necessarily maybe like event wise is like having a shared calendar. Whether that's up on your refrigerator or on your phone, we have it on our phone because obviously we have that stupid thing in our hand all day. We have one that is a shared calendar. Hey, we're planning the next week. Now we have a baby. Life is a little bit more complicated. You know, we can't just like go and do our separate things and then come back at the end of the day. So it's like, hey, I have this day. You can look on the calendar, you can put it on there, and that'll keep you guys organized for the day. Is it for events? If you guys are hosting, let's say, a Connect group, and you're like, hey, we have to have people over here and we have to provide food and all of that. Start making a list. You can do a shared notes on your app on the phone. I assume you both have iPhones.
No.
No. Oh, okay.
Well,
Well,
an Android guy.
that's okay.
That's
fine.
crazy. No, I'm just kidding.
You guys can do. Look, me and Mel were sharing a Google document, like
Yeah.
a Word document that you can do it live. And like as she's making changes, I can see the changes she's making live. Like I know it's hard for you to do that, but the only way to be organized is to literally, and it doesn't have to look pretty, but just be like, all right, we're hosting Connect group. All right, Ale, you get the croquetas and you get the bread. And on my way home from work, I'm gonna grab the sodas and the water bottles, and I'll write it down and just have that so that it's visible. I think
Yeah.
being able to see something is gonna help you be organized. So. I know it'll be an extra step for you, but unfortunately, planning is a lot of steps.
Well, but and also like
start small.
yeah, and also for your wife, I would say if she's taking the lead on planning an event, maybe like a week before, be like, hey, honey, how can I help you this week?
Yeah.
So that you're not asking the day before, and then you're like,
Well,
running
I already
around all
asked
crazy.
before.
Oh,
It's like an hour up.
oh, that wow. Yeah, so
praying
maybe
for
putting
you.
a reminder on your phone, or you put a reminder on his phone a week before to ask you.
Yeah.
If you guys
So-
have your calendar, you can make an alert.
sorry.
for
Yes.
both of the calendars.
Yes. I was gonna say.
Don't drag us down with you, George.
Like everybody's gonna come on, George.
Yeah, I know. I
You
got
got
all
it.
eyes on you.
I think that's why I became a planner, because my family is very like, oh, we have 70 people coming over today. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay.
You're like chaos.
Yeah.
I get heart, like,
Palpitations. Yes.
My chest races.
Yeah.
For me, it's really hard to remember that I have to ask those questions, like,
Yeah.
how can I help you? But since I also have an Android, I understand that there's this feature on our phone that we can schedule messages ahead of time.
Whoa, that's
so
cool.
as soon as someone tells me, hey, we're doing an event this day, and I know that we need to have certain things done by this day, I'll just automatically schedule a message going out to that other person. Hey, what else do we need done? And then they'll text me back. They have no idea I already planned that message. They'll text me back and I'll be like, yeah, that's right. I have to do this.
Alerts on the phone are like life-saving. Like I put all of my calendar events and me and my husband's events, we do like a reminder. There's on the iPhone, it has 2 lines where you could do the first reminder and then the second reminder, and I usually do it like a week prior. So it's like, hey, remember we have my nephew's birthday next week and we have the conference at church. And then it's like, oh, okay, I can start thinking next week, what do I have? And then 2 days prior as well. So it's like, oh, okay, in 2 days we've got this. I was already reminded last week, and that'll kind of help you guys as a couple get a little more organized so she's not having heart palpitations.
Pobrecita, look at what you're doing to her.
Come on.
Wow.
It's a safe space. It's a safe space.
I'm not asking.
It's not being recorded.
No.
It's not being recorded.
I'm gonna post his phone number. I'm gonna text him.
Do you want to add me to your calendar? I can start, I'll help you out. I'm just kidding.
Well, guys, I think that's all the time we have, but it was a pleasure having you guys.
Thank you for coming.